Hey everybody, I'm Mama Baird and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be making a classic coffee cake. Now, the reason for my coffee cake is because I have a new product to review, and that is Atlas Coffee subscription.
Atlas Coffee Club is a monthly subscription that delivers exotic coffee straight to your door. It tells you what hints of flavor you're going to be tasting in the coffee, and as well as a little history card of the country itself.
What I like about the subscription is that you can pick what kind of roast you want, and whether you want ground or whole bean, or if you just want a variety of everything. And I really like that because I prefer dark roast myself. Even though light roast has more caffeine, dark roast just tastes better, you know? So I like the flavor of coffee, so that's why I prefer the dark roast. And today's box is from Honduras. I really like these send you kind of like a postcard, and it has little information about the country. Honduras propels you with the vibrant energy of the country in motion. Slowly reclaimed by its people after years of violence, Honduras offers the hope and wonder of a road less traveled. Begin your journey beneath it all. An ancient foundation of Mayan culture traces time itself at the ruins of Copan. The 13-year-old hieroglyphic stairway recounts your royal legacy of Mayan kings. So it's really cool. It gives you a history of the country itself and what it's known for, and then it gives you a little card that's about the coffee. I get whole bean coffee, so I keep mine in the freezer because I'm going to ground this up using my blender, and it works way better if it's frozen so the oil doesn't have a chance to clump up. So here's the pack of coffee they give you. It's 1 pound, I believe, 12 ounces. 12 ounces of coffee. It says roasted to order in Austin, Texas. Let's see, so this one, Honduras, is, I'm horrible with pronouncing stuff. This is where husband comes in handy with the homeschooling venture. The La Para? I know it's also good for helping kids sound out words, right? If I have to sound out the words too. Anyway, so the tasting notes in this coffee is going to be cantaloupe, baker's chocolate, and caramel. And it has the roast level on there. This coffee is going through a cooperative of small farms in the La Puria region. We're excited to partner with them and continue to support small farms in their efforts to create amazing coffee to share across the world. So let's give this started. I'm going to go ahead and get the coffee going, and then we're going to start the coffee cake. So let me get my Vitamix out so we can blend up this coffee. I went ahead and cleaned my coffee machine so it's filtered, ready to go. So I'm not going to get any backwash of other coffee. It's super easy to do it. You just add some vinegar into where the water goes, fill it up with water. Don't have any coffee in there, just run it plain. And that hot vinegar water will help release any kind of lime buildup, calcium buildup, and just give your machine a good cleanse. It's good to do that with your washing machine, your dishwasher, pretty much any water machines. It's good to give it a good vinegar rinse every once in a while. All right, so let's get this coffee opened up. My mom wanted to open it, and I'm like, no, we'll save it for the video. Let's smell her. Let's smell her. Oh, that looks good. It's funny that it says it's what, chocolate, milk chocolate, because it kind of looks dark chocolatey. All right, and the blender. And put the cap on her. Like 45 seconds ground coffee. I might grind it some more though. That's not quite ground enough for me. Now that I see it. Oh, the smell. There we go. That's more like coffee grounds right there. Mr. Coffee, make me my cup. I'm so excited, I can't get enough. I just live off of coffee and sunshine. What am I gonna do when it's cloudy? I don't know. Okay, let's start it. Oh boy. Oh boy. Percolation. It makes me happy to hear it. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Mama Baird and I live in Montana. I do a lot of food bank hauls, pantry cooking, and product reviews on my channel. If that's the kind of content you're into, I hope you'd consider subscribing. Love to have you come join me in the kitchen. All right, guys, let's get into making this coffee cake. All right, coffee is going. Ah, okay, so let's get started on this coffee cake. Now, it has a couple of steps because it has an inner cinnamon layer, and then it has a crumb on top, crumb streusel on top. Crooked. There we go. So I got my handy dandy KitchenAid mixer here and some other bowls. I'm gonna get reorganized. I was gonna do this last night, but you know, you run out of steam, right? That's what happens. So I got room temperature butter for both my cake and my streusel. All right, so we're gonna do 3/4 of a cup of light brown sugar. So there's half a cup, 1/4 of a cup, and then 1/4 cup of flour in here, and some cinnamon, about 2 teaspoons worth. Now this is our inner filling for the coffee cake. Brown sugar is a little crunchy. If that happens to you and you have crunchy brown sugar, you could always like put a piece of bread in it, and something about it, the bread absorbs all the dryness and the sugar soaks up all the moistness from the bread. It's like Rapunzel. You suck up someone else's youth and it becomes young again. All right, so there's our streusel filling. That's all we need, or not a streusel, I'm sorry. There's our cinnamon filling. That's all we need for that. Let's move on to our streusel topping. You can start with 1 cup of flour, and then this is half a cup of room temperature butter in here, and then 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar, light brown sugar, some cinnamon, and some salt, about 1/4 teaspoon. And then let's get in here and kind of mix this up. I'm gonna end up getting my hands in there. You could cube up your butter so it's a little easier, but I was measuring it out last night and then as far as I got. Sometimes it's the best thing you can do is measure stuff out for the next day to bake, and if you don't have time to do it, because baking can take like hours by the time it bakes, cools, stuff like that. All right, just gave my hands a wash. Let's get in here. We're just looking, you know, like the streusel top. You're looking for a crumb, kind of pea size butter crumbs in it, just like you were to do like a pie crust or anything like that. You could use cold butter for this. Room temperature butter is fine. Melted butter would work too. Just get the butter in there. It could be any shape or form. This is one of those things where it's not picky. It's not like pie crust where you got to have super frozen cold butter. You know, this can be any kind of butter temperature. I'm gonna call that good for the streusel. All right, hard part's done. Sorry guys, putting that ring back on, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay, let's get to the cake. And it's not even a hard part. They're just a couple of steps you have to take, right, to get a good cake. So we got our streusel, all that. And in here, I have 3/4 cup of butter. And now we're gonna add some more brown sugar. I'm gonna go through your brown sugar in here. You know, you guys can make your own brown sugar. I can leave the short below where I made it myself. It's super easy and it tastes so much better. So we're doing a cup of brown sugar, and then we're also going to do a cup of regular white sugar. All right, so let's cream these two. Well, I need my paddle, I guess. Let's cream these two together. Have a little clunk of butter that's sticking down there, so I'm gonna get down there and scrape it. Our butter is nice and creamy. All right, so in here I have 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm gonna add 1/4 cup of cornstarch. That's gonna make this a super light super light batter. You can even add, you could use cake flour if you wanted instead of the cornstarch. And we're gonna add 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And 1/2, and then 3/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm using kosher salt. You could use whatever salt. If you do use a small salt though, it's actually a little less. You'd be better off weighing your salt if you use like iodized or small salt. We're gonna add 3 eggs to this. 2 teaspoons of a really good vanilla. You don't want like imitation vanilla. It's worth getting the money to splurge for a good vanilla. I say that as one of you guys actually sent me this, but it's really good vanilla. I would definitely buy this again. And then we're gonna add a cup of sour cream. I happen to have yogurt here. You do want this room temperature. Everything, the eggs, the yogurt, or sour cream is actually what it's called for, but plain yogurt works just as well. All right, so let's mix this up. And this is all the dry goods. Salt, baking powder, flour, and cornstarch. I mean, it's really simple ingredients. You don't need fancy ingredients to make a really good cake, you know? All right, let's slowly add the flour. That's all she wrote. You don't want it to mix up too much. I'm gonna hand mix the rest of it. So you don't want to work that flour too much because that's what makes the gluten develop and that'll make it tough. So baked goods, you really don't want to overwork stuff unless you're like doing breads and stuff. Then you want that gluten development. Oh, it smells so good. And I got a 9x9 pan here. I'm gonna spray it. You could also use parchment if you'd like. So I'm gonna pour half of this in there. And this is the part where we add our cinnamon filling we made. Okay, and then the other half of your batter. Now's the fun part. We get to add our streusel. This is a lot of streusel because you want that super big coating, crunchy coating on top. So this is going in a 350-degree oven for about 45 to 50 minutes. All right, everybody, let's give this coffee a try. I gave some to husband, but the first thing I noticed that it does look a little weak. Ow, that's hot. The way I always test is that if you can see the coffee through the light, right? So let's look at my light. You see how you can see that, you can like see it? That's what, so I learned from McDonald's days that that's weak coffee. So this could be weak just because I didn't grind them up enough. That's why I really like a fine grind on my coffee beans, because I feel like that just extracts more of the coffee flavor and makes for a strong pot versus a weak pot. Nobody likes their coffee weak. I got my cute watermelon cup that Miss Julie sent me. You're so good to me. So let's give this a try. Now, I do usually drink my coffee with cream, but whenever I have the new flavor of coffee I want to try, I always like try it at black first. Ah, Java. Ah. Oh, that's good. Coffee cake. I definitely taste the hints of the caramel. Husband, have you tried your coffee yet? It's supposed to have hints of baker's chocolate, cantaloupe, and caramel.
Yeah, I can
He tastes the flavor, he just needs to be more powerful, which means I make a weak pot of coffee. I'll just take that back to the kitchen for you, sir. It tastes really good though, I like that. So I'm gonna grind the rest of those coffee grinds up a little more in my blender. Man, I like trying different flavors of coffee though, and that's the best thing about this subscription is that you get to try a new coffee, and if you like it, then you can keep buying that one. So it's a good way to experiment and find the coffee that's perfect for you. Especially if you're just an avid coffee lover and you just love coffee. Like some people I feel drink coffee just to drink the creamer. I drink coffee for the flavor of the coffee. So I'm kind of a bit of a coffee snob. So this subscription was perfect for me because I love being able to try all different types of coffee. And this kind of takes the burden off of having to pick one. They just send it to you and then you get to try it, and then you can kind of learn more about what kind of coffee you really do like. All right, let's check that coffee cake, see how she's doing. So here is our coffee cake after 50 minutes. It's starting to get a little color in the cake right there. But if I shake it, you see that jiggle? You do not want your cake to jiggle like your wife's thighs, right? So we're gonna put that back in for probably 10, 15 more minutes. I thought that was gonna be too much streusel, but that looks ideal. Stop touching it. All right guys, let's cut into this here coffee cake. Oh, it was so fluffy just from the first slice. Like you can feel the resistance whenever you cut a cake. If you cut enough cakes, you know. Wow. And it's warm. That looks beautiful. Look at that picture perfect cake. I don't think I've ever made a coffee cake before, but this one turned out gorgeous. I'm really glad I took the extra time to do that cinnamon center there. All right, let's give her a try. Because you know, if you're reviewing a cup of coffee, you gotta make a coffee cake. That is one fluffy cake. I like that trick of adding the cornstarch in there. The streusel tastes a little floury. Can you hear the crunch? Oh, that cinnamon filling is really good. Wow. Oh, almost committed a sin there. Dropped a cake. Look at that center filling. Wow, this is so good, guys. I really hope you give this a try. I like that the sour cream part's really versatile, so you can either use sour cream, plain Greek yogurt, you could use buttermilk, anything that kind of has like that sour flavor, because that is what helps, like the vinegar, the soured milk, stuff like that. That's what helps make a fluffy baked good. That's why a lot of people make, buttermilk pancakes, buttermilk biscuits, buttermilk cakes, because that buttermilk helps soften up the texture of the cake and make it super fluffy. But I really hope you give this coffee cake a try. Make sure you check out Atlas Coffee Club listed below. Thank you, Atlas, for letting me try your coffee. I am super excited. I really love the different cultures that I'm going to be able to experience by trying this coffee, trying new flavors. I like that I could really taste the hints that they said were in that coffee. I feel like the company's true to their word. They offered what they were sending, and I hope you check them out. Thank you so much for coming along with me. I'll catch you next time on Mama Baird's.